Christmas Vacation is a classic comedy film, but the fate of many actors in it turned out to be far less bright than the characters they portrayed. From sudden deaths to forgotten lives, this list of 11 departed actors will leave you stunned. Imogene Coca as Aunt Edna. Imogene Coca, born Imogene Coca, was born on November 18, 1908, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. When she appeared in the 1983 film National Lampoon's Vacation, she was 75 years old and played Aunt Edna, a cranky, complaining aunt who was nonetheless outrageously funny. Her character is best remembered for her sudden death and being strapped to the roof of the car for the remainder of the trip. In just a few brief scenes, Coca turned a supporting role into one of Hollywood's iconic comedic moments. Imogene Coca passed away on June 2, 2001, at her home in Westport, Connecticut, at the age of 92. The cause was complications from Alzheimer's disease, a condition that gradually took away her memory and cognitive abilities in the final years of her life. Her ashes were scattered after cremation as a peaceful farewell to the artistic world she had stirred for nearly 70 years. With hundreds of roles across television, theater, and film, she left behind a massive legacy. Imogene Coca's estimated net worth at the time of her death was about $2 million USD, a modest figure compared to her significant impact on American entertainment. Her life was a series of rebirths on stage, marked by painful turning points. Coca was in a serious car accident in 1972 that left her blind in one eye, yet she continued performing on Broadway even in her 70s. She had no children but was married twice. First to musician Bob Burton, her beloved husband and collaborator for 20 years until his sudden death in 1955, and later to actor King Donovan from 1960 until his death in 1987. Twice widowed, twice heartbroken, but Coca never stopped working. In addition to her classic role alongside Sid Caesar in Your Show of Shows during the 1950s, she earned a Tony nomination for On the 20th Century, 1978, and even at the age of 80 received an Emmy nomination for a guest role in Moonlighting. Despite her petite frame, Coca possessed extraordinary endurance. She once sat for hours in the freezing snow to shoot a music video for MTV in her 70s without a single complaint. Life magazine once called her the woman who could kill a tiger with a feather, a perfect description of her sharp yet subtle satirical talent. Imogene Coca was not just an actress. She was a phenomenon, a trailblazer for future female comedians like Carol Burnett and Lily Tomlin. And with just one role as Aunt Edna in National Lampoon's Vacation, she delivered a comedic finale no one dares to forget. John Randolph as Clark Wilhelm Griswold Sr. John Randolph, whose real name was Emanuel Hirsch Cohen, was born on June 1, 1915, in New York City. When he played Clark Griswold Sr. in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in 1989, he was 74 years old. In the film, he portrayed the calm and humorous father of main character Clark Griswold, played by Chevy Chase, bringing a sense of warmth and family unity amidst the chaotic humor of the holiday season. Though his screen time was limited, Randolph made a strong impression with his dignified demeanor and world-weary gaze, serving as a gentle counterbalance to the antics of the younger generation. John Randolph died on February 24, 2004, in Hollywood, California, at the age of 88. He passed from natural causes and continued working until his final year, demonstrating an unwavering artistic spirit. Born into a Jewish immigrant family, he served in World War II and began his stage career in 1938. However, the greatest tragedy of his life was being blacklisted during the McCarthy era for suspected communist ties, which led to both him and his wife, actress Sarah Cunningham, being banned from American cinema for years. Nevertheless, he made a strong comeback in the 1960s and went on to appear in films like Serpico, 1973, Prizzi's Honor, 1985, and You've Got Mail, 1998. His net worth was estimated at around $3 million USD at the time of his death. In his personal life, Randolph had a long-lasting marriage with Sarah Cunningham until her death in 1986. The couple were not only life partners, but also resilient colleagues who stood side by side through political persecution, a challenge few could endure in the harsh world of entertainment. With no children and a private lifestyle, he devoted himself entirely to his craft. In 1993, he originated the role of Frank Costanza in Seinfeld before the character was recast with Jerry Stiller. Randolph was the embodiment of a steadfast actor who survived war, political blacklisting, and Hollywood obscurity to earn his place through sheer talent. E.G. Marshall as Art Smith. E.G. Marshall, born Everett Eugene Grunz, was born on June 18, 1914, in Owatonna, Minnesota. When he appeared in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in 1989, he was 74 years old and played Art Smith, the sarcastic and emotionally reserved father of Ellen Griswold. With his dry humor and eyes that always seemed to judge the person in front of him, Marshall's character brought laughter through discomfort, creating a perfect comedic counterbalance to the holiday chaos ignited by Clark Griswold. E.G. Marshall passed away on August 24, 1998, at his home in Bedford, New York, at the age of 84. The cause was lung cancer, a malignant disease that forced him to step away from the stage and screen in his final years. With a career spanning more than 50 years, his net worth was estimated at around $4 million USD, a figure reflecting his solid status in American film and television. In his personal life, Marshall went through 2 marriages. His first marriage to Helen Wolf lasted more than 20 years and produced 2 daughters. After their divorce in 1953, he married Judith Coy in 1958, and they had 3 more children together. His second marriage lasted until the end of his life. During this time, he also hosted the popular radio series CBS Radio Mystery Theater, portrayed the President of the United States in Superman 2, and made a return in Nixon, 1995, as Attorney General John N. Mitchell. On screen, he consistently exuded the presence of an intellectual, a strict father, or a powerful figure. But in real life, E.G. Marshall was a committed artist, actively advocating for public health policy and supporting presidential candidate Hubert Humphrey during the 1968 campaign. Mae Questel as Aunt Bethany. Mae Questel, full name Mae Questel, was born on September 13, 1908 in the Bronx, New York. When she appeared in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in 1989, she was 81 years old. In the film, she played Aunt Bethany, the elderly, forgetful, but utterly lovable aunt who joins the family Christmas dinner and leaves an unforgettable impression when she sings the national anthem instead of saying grace. Her character was both silly and heartwarming, a humorous highlight amid the Griswold family's chaotic holiday gathering. Mae Questel passed away on January 4, 1998, at the age of 89, after a long battle with Alzheimer's disease. She died in Manhattan, where she had lived for decades. Her body was laid to rest at New Montefiore Cemetery in West Babylon, New York, not far from where she began her artistic career. Before her death, Mae's net worth was estimated at around $2 million USD, a modest sum but well-earned for a voice-acting icon who brought to life such immortal cartoon characters as Betty Boop and Olive Oyl. Mae was once married to Leo Balkan, and they had 2 children together. However, the marriage ended quietly, and she raised the children on her own. Throughout her career, she largely lived a reclusive life away from the spotlight, only reappearing when the right script came along. After Christmas Vacation, she never acted in film again, though earlier she had made a memorable appearance in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, 1963, and continued voicing Olive Oyl into the 1980s. What's most surprising is that her voice, once echoing through millions of television sets, came from such a petite, modest woman who lived simply and loved her craft until her very last breath. William Hickey, as Uncle Lewis. William Edward Hickey was born on September 19, 1927, in Brooklyn, New York. a man who carried the essence of New York in every breath until the end. When he appeared in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in 1989, he was 61 years old, playing Uncle Lewis, the cranky, forgetful old uncle who nearly set the Christmas tree on fire. With his famously raspy voice and mischievous eyes, Hickey turned a minor role into one of the film's most unforgettable highlights. William Hickey passed away on June 29, 1997, at the age of 69, due to complications from emphysema and pneumonia, illnesses often associated with long-term smoking. He died in his hometown and was buried at the Cemetery of the Evergreens in Brooklyn. With over 5 decades of dedication to stage and film, his net worth at the time of his death was estimated at about $1.5 million USD. Not much by A-list standards, but enough to prove the weight of a truly skilled actor. In his personal life, William Hickey never married, had no children, and lived an eccentric bachelor's life in the heart of New York. He taught at HB Studio in Greenwich Village, an acting school that once trained Barbra Streisand and Sandy Dennis, with a liquor bottle tucked behind the sink. People used to joke that if you wanted to understand the madness in Uncle Lewis's laugh, you only had to look at Hickey's own bohemian lifestyle, rough-edged, artistic, and somewhat indifferent. Even so, Hickey left a deep impression through his distinctive roles, most notably as Don Corrado Prizzi in Prizzi's Honor, 1985, which earned him an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor and remained one of his most beloved performances until the end of his life. Doris Roberts as Frances Smith. Doris May Roberts was born on November 4, 1925, in St. Louis, Missouri, into a Russian Jewish family. In 1989, when she was 64 years old, she appeared in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation as Frances Smith, the mother of Ellen Griswold. Though her role was small, it was deeply memorable thanks to her sharp expressions and sarcastic lines that tore through every effort to keep the holiday dinner peaceful. Just one eyebrow raise or sigh from Frances was enough to make audiences both laugh and squirm. Exactly like those holiday meals we've all experienced. Doris Roberts passed away on April 17, 2016, at the age of 90, from a stroke at her home in Los Angeles. Her funeral was held at Westwood Village Memorial Park, the resting place of many Hollywood icons. After more than 6 decades in the arts, Doris's net worth was estimated at around $14 million USD, mainly from her iconic role as Marie Barone in the series Everybody Loves Raymond, which ran from 1996 to 2005 and earned her 4 Emmy Awards. The way she portrayed a controlling, talkative, but loving mother-in-law made millions of Americans laugh and feel like they were watching their own mothers. In her personal life, Doris married writer Michael Cannata and had 1 son. After their divorce, she never remarried and spent the rest of her decades single, dedicating her heart to stage, television, and social advocacy. She publicly battled obesity, campaigned against elder abuse, and spoke out in support of older women in the entertainment industry. Before rising to fame on Raymond, she had made her mark with strong supporting roles in Remington Steele and Step by Step, always playing women who knew better than even the director. Doris Roberts didn't need leading roles to steal the screen. Her career proved that an actress doesn't need to be young or glamorous to become immortal in the audience's heart. Just talented enough, and capable of delivering a single look that could silence a son-in-law. John Candy as Russ Lasky. John Franklin Candy, born on October 31, 1950, in Newmarket, Ontario, Canada, was one of the comedic legends of 1980s Hollywood. In 1983, when he was 33 years old, he made audiences laugh as Russ Lasky, the lovable yet reluctant security guard at Wally World in National Lampoon's Vacation. Though he only appeared at the end of the film, Candy left a strong impression with his charming performance and effortlessly funny expressions. This role clearly showcased his talent for making a lasting impact in a short amount of screen time. John Candy passed away suddenly on March 4, 1994, at just 43 years old while filming Wagons East in Durango, Mexico. The cause was a heart attack during sleep, a tragic continuation of fate, as his father had also died of heart disease at age 35. His remains were interred at Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City, California, in a grand mausoleum that draws millions of visitors each year. At the time of his death, Candy had an estimated net worth of $15 million USD, the result of a prolific film career spanning more than 2 decades, with hits like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and Uncle Buck. Off-screen, Candy enjoyed a peaceful family life with his wife, Rosemary Hobor, and their 2 children, Christopher and Jennifer. However, behind the smile was a quiet struggle with anxiety, weight gain, and professional pressure. He once lost nearly 100 pounds to prepare for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, 1987, but later battled with diets, smoking, drinking, and even used cocaine during his early fame. In Cool Runnings, 1993, his final successful role, Candy portrayed an American bobsled coach in a performance that was both funny and touching, capturing his real-life warmth and humanity. And even more than 3 decades later, his gentle smile and unique comedic style still live on, like a warm light during the holidays, just as he once made millions laugh in the imaginary theme park of Wally World. Eddie Bracken as Roy Wally. Edward Vincent Bracken, also known as Eddie Bracken, was born on February 7, 1915, in Astoria, Queens, New York. In 1983, when he was 68 years old, he appeared in the classic comedy National Lampoon's Vacation, playing Roy Wally, the founder of the Wally World amusement park. Though he only appeared at the end of the film, Bracken's role became a charming comedic highlight as he faced the chaos brought by the Griswold family. With his kind demeanor and a hint of naivety fitting the image of an all-American boss, Bracken made a lasting impression in just a few minutes on screen. At age 87, Eddie Bracken passed away on November 14, 2002, in Glen Ridge, New Jersey. The cause was complications from surgery to treat a cervical disc injury, an unexpected situation that marked the loss of a familiar comedic face in 20th century Hollywood. He is remembered not only for his lovable roles, but also for a career that spanned nearly 70 years, including television, Broadway, and film. Although he didn't possess the vast wealth of many stars of his era, Bracken still accumulated around $2 million USD, the result of steady work and respected standing in the entertainment world. Bracken enjoyed a fulfilling marriage of over 60 years with Connie Nickerson, a fellow performer he met in 1938. They had 5 children and lived a quiet, scandal-free family life. Bracken first rose to major fame in the 1940s with Hail the Conquering Hero and The Miracle of Morgan's Creek, 2 films now preserved in the U.S. National Film Registry. After his golden years, he stepped away from Hollywood to focus on Broadway, then made an unexpected return to cinema in roles as a kind old man in Home Alone 2, Rookie of the Year, and Baby's Day Out. These were small parts, but filled with warmth and left a sweet aftertaste. In an age when Hollywood is full of noise and spectacle, Bracken stood out as a symbol of gentle, refined, and admirable humor. A real-life Mr. Wally World anyone would want to meet. Frank McRae as Grover. Frank McRae was born on March 18, 1941, in Memphis, Tennessee, a southern city that nourished both his athletic and artistic spirit. When he appeared in National Lampoon's Vacation, 1983, he was 42 years old, playing Grover, a security guard with a steely stare and a heart as soft as candy. In the film's iconic final scene at Wally World, McRae and John Candy formed a quirky duo of security guards, helping bring the movie's comedic chaos to a climax. Frank McRae passed away on April 29, 2021, at the age of 80, due to a heart attack in Santa Monica, California. With memorable supporting roles in 48 RRs, License to Kill, and Used Cars, He built a steady career and left behind an estimated net worth of around $1 million USD. Aside from appearing in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in 48 Hours and Hars, 1982, he played Lieutenant Hayden, a constantly yelling police chief in meeting rooms, a role so iconic that he later parodied it himself in Last Action Hero, 1993. Though small, the performance became a comedic archetype, and McRae's mere presence on screen was enough to make audiences laugh. Earlier, he made an unexpected mark in Used Cars, 1980, as Jim, a clueless but lovable mechanic, showing off his effortless comedic charm for the first time. Frank McRae was the kind of character actor whose name you might not recall, but whose face and emotional impact you never forget. Chevy Chase, as Clark Griswold. Cornelius Crane. Chevy Chase was born on October 8, 1943, in Manhattan, New York. In 1989, when he was 46 years old, he became the Christmas icon for millions of viewers by playing Clark Griswold in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Clark is a devoted father who always manages to turn every holiday into a series of hilariously disastrous situations, from decorating the house with 25,000 light bulbs to stubbornly preserving the Christmas spirit amid pure chaos. With exaggerated expressions, unreasonable optimism, and a warm heart, Chase made the character eternally beloved. As of 2025, Chevy Chase is 82 years old. Though his health has declined, he still appears at reunion events and occasionally in small independent comedies. His net worth is estimated at around $50 million USD, accumulated during the golden years of his career, especially from the Vacation series Caddyshack, 1980, and Fletch, 1985. In 2022, he appeared in special episodes of Community, a series that reintroduced him to a new generation, despite behind-the-scenes tensions. Chase has been married 3 times, but his most enduring partner has been Janie Luke, whom he married in 1982, and together they have 3 children. Off-screen, he struggled with an addiction to painkillers, a result of numerous falls during his time on Saturday Night Live. Later, he also battled alcoholism and was hospitalized multiple times during the 2000s. However, he has always been open about his recovery, earning both sympathy and admiration from the public. In 2021, he nearly died from acute heart failure and had to be rushed to the hospital. These hardships have only deepened the emotional resonance of Clark Griswold, the man who tries everything for his family. Despite various controversies behind the scenes, no one can deny the legacy Chevy Chase has left in cinema. He is the face of Christmas, the embodiment of lovable chaos in every American household. Clark Griswold wasn't perfect, but he always tried, just like Chevy Chase himself, a comedian who has made millions smile for over 4 decades. Beverly D'Angelo as Ellen Griswold. Beverly Heather D'Angelo was born on November 15, 1951, in Columbus, Ohio, and is one of Hollywood's most striking actresses, known for her classic charm and intelligent presence. When she took on the role of Ellen Griswold in National Lampoon's Vacation, 1983, she was 32 years old. Her portrayal of Ellen, a patient, witty, yet sharp wife who served as the emotional anchor amidst the chaos caused by Clark Griswold, became an iconic figure in the family comedy genre. As of 2025, Beverly D'Angelo is 74 years old and continues to be active in the entertainment industry with a relentless creative spirit. Recently, she appeared in the action comedy film Violent Night, 2022, proving that even with age, D'Angelo retains her sharp and charming acting style. Besides acting, she also does voice work in animation, most notably as Lurleen Lumpkin in The Simpsons, a role she's voiced since 1992 through to season 36 in 2025. With over 60 films and a wide variety of roles, her net worth is estimated at around $20 million USD, mostly earned from her 4-decade-long career in film and television. D'Angelo's personal life is no less dramatic. She was once married to Don Lorenzo Salviati, a descendant of Italian nobility, but the marriage ended quickly. Her most notable relationship was with actor Al Pacino, with whom she had twins through IVF in 2001. However, their 6-year relationship ended bitterly with a contentious custody battle. Prior to that, she was devastated by the sudden death of her boyfriend, production designer Anton Furst, who committed suicide in 1991. Professionally, D'Angelo also endured tensions, especially while working with co-star Chevy Chase, who was rumored to be difficult and distant. Yet, despite emotional turmoil and career pressures, Beverly D'Angelo has maintained the image of a strong, talented, and captivating woman. She is not just Clark Griswold's ideal wife on screen, but also a resilient symbol of grace, quietly shining through the ever-changing storms of Hollywood. Randy Quaid, as Cousin Eddie. Randy Randall. Rudy Quaid was born on October 1, 1950, in Houston, Texas. In 1989, when he appeared in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, he was 39 years old, and already a familiar face on the big screen. In the film, Randy played Cousin Eddie, the eccentric, scruffy relative living in an old RV with his wife, kids, and a mischievous dog. Wearing an inside-out fur hat, white swim trunks in the snow, and delivering iconic lines like "shitter was full," Eddie became the lovable mess that defined every chaotic Christmas. As of 2025, Randy Quaid is 75 years old. However, his acting career has nearly come to a halt following a series of legal issues and erratic behavior during the 2010s. After being charged with vandalism and accused of tax evasion, he and his wife fled to Canada to seek asylum, an act that stirred international media frenzy. Although once Oscar-nominated for The Last Detail, 1973, and memorable in Independence Day, 1996, Randy's current life is completely detached from Hollywood. His net worth, once near $20 million USD, has dwindled to a few $100,000, largely due to lawsuits and a reclusive, unconventional lifestyle. In his personal life, Randy was first married to Ella Marie Jolly and had one daughter before divorcing and remarrying Evie Quaid, the wife who accompanied him through scandals and a belief in Hollywood conspiracies. In recent years, the couple has lived in seclusion, occasionally posting bizarre videos on social media in which Randy wears tinfoil hats or impersonates historical figures. Ironically, while Cousin Eddie was lovably weird in the movie, Randy in real life has surpassed even the wildest imaginations of screenwriters. Still, every Christmas, audiences erupt in laughter seeing Cousin Eddie standing in the snow, beer in hand, swearing cheerfully. That role, perhaps his last great performance, secured Randy Quaid a permanent spot in American holiday pop culture, even if his own path strayed far from the movie lights. They once brought endless laughter to every Christmas, and now only memories remain. Do you still recall a moment with them that moved you the most? Share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories behind the curtain.